Yesterday, I said I will talk about the man that might replace Boris Johnson if he is too ill to rule the nation. And today I'm talking about it. Now, I want you all to understand what the far left likes to say to the God of common sense. Not today. Because a lot of the people from the far left, they decide that it would be a good thing. They would celebrate if Boris Johnson would take a turn for the worse. And these people don't realize that if that were to happen, this guy would be in charge. It's the same with the people who wish the worst to Donald Trump. If Donald Trump wouldn't be in charge, then Mike Pence would. And these people, they really do not think that far into the future. Now, I want to make something clear. I notice a lot of people are complaining when I say the far left. Now, these people are usually postmodernists. They care a lot about definitions. And definitions in language aren't like mathematics. You don't need to be like 2 plus 2 equals 4 to be the exact definition. Like, no, definitions in language are something that is broad, all right? It doesn't mean not all. If you're going to say not all right, you're in the loony bin. I'm not interested in talking with you. Like, not all crowd, not all. Obviously, it's not all. But when I say the far left, I mean the type of individuals that have the hammer and sickle on the Twitter, that have their pronouns in their bio, that have the rose, which is the symbol of socialism, that have the black flag, and they're not pirates. All right, all these people put together, if you watch them from afar long enough, you notice certain patterns emerging. You notice certain things that tie them together. So when you say the far left, obviously you don't mean every one of them, but chances are more likely than not that if the person fits the criteria, he is going to, for example, wish ill to the Prime Minister of the UK. Without thinking that this man might be in charge. Now, who is Dominic Raab? Now, I generally did not know about Dominic Raab up until yesterday. And the more I look into him, the more I see a savage man. A man with no remorse. A man that likes to say things the way they are, and the mainstream media do not seem to appreciate him. I mean, I noticed this from the Business Insider, and they call him a controversial figure. I noticed that controversial is a dog whistle to a little bit more conservative than we like. I mean, the mainstream media will like conservatives as long as they're neo-conservatives and they're politically correct. But the moment they start talking about lowering taxes, securing the border, bringing business back home, listen to what the electorate vote them to do, then it's controversial. It's like, whoa, that's a little bit too far. That is way too conservative for us. Now think about it. When is the last time the British media called a far leftist controversial? When is the last time they would call Jeremy Corbyn controversial? Like, even though the man went to communist rallies, that's not controversial at all. No, that is just mainstream. That is just what the basic bitch voter would vote for, right? So, again, let's go back to Mr. Dominique. He apparently is not only controversial, but look, he is a Brexit hardliner who campaigned to leave the European Union. Horrible. In a country where the popular vote was to leave the European Union, one man, one politician dares to do the brave thing. Stunning and brave, even though apparently it was wrong. Okay, because the mainstream media in Britain says it's wrong. Therefore, he is a bad guy. Perfect. I understand how this works. Right. That's what makes him controversial. Another thing that they say is like he's got enemies in the government. And I was like, oh no. No, he's got enemies in the government. Oh, how is that possible? Oh, a politician. Can you imagine that? A politician has enemies in the government. Show me a politician that doesn't have enemies in the government, and I will show you a politician that isn't worthy getting your vote. I mean, no, seriously, like, if you have a man with principles, okay, that represents a certain ideology, and you send him in the government, then he's going to have people with the opposite ideology, right? Like, you're going to have a conservative, and then you're going to have a progressive. Normally, they're going to be enemies. But a person that, like, agrees with everyone and doesn't make a single enemy, it means that he's not a person that's there in order to fight for your rights. He is a person that's there in order to enrich himself. not spiritually, financially. So, he's a yes man. He agrees with everyone. He doesn't want to just, okay. So apparently some colleagues believes he lacks the emotional intelligence and fear he would struggle to rise to the occasion. Oh, he doesn't have the emotional intelligence. He's not like Barack Obama that cries on television. He's not. Do I really care if the politician has the emotional intelligence though, or is that something that the mainstream media cares? Like, the only thing I expect from my politicians is to not be taxed more than I should, and for the country to keep running. I legitimately do not care about their opinion, what they do in their free time. Like, no, seriously, what would you prefer? What would you prefer? Lower tax rates from a politician that is not well spoken, or higher tax rates from a very spoken Justin Trudeau? By the way, is Justin Trudeau high on emotional intelligence when he decided to blackface? Maybe this is why he did it, in order to see how it's like to experience racism. He goes outside in blackface and people tell him it's like you're not really a black person, and that But anyway, right? That's not just the main reason that people hate Mr. Dominic. The main reason they dislike him is because he called feminists obnoxious bigots. Now you have to understand this is taking place in the United Kingdom, where feminism was muy tsuyoi, as the Japanese would say, tsuyoi, in 2019, May, when this was taken. Now feminism is not tsuyoi anymore. It's quite weak because of two reasons. I think the first thing which hurt feminism a lot was that the people pushing it were the mainstream media, celebrities, and Hollywood actors. And when the Me Too movement struck, and it wasn't conservatives that were mostly outed. There were a couple, but not a lot. The big amount of people that were Me Too'd out of existence were progressive people from the media, celebrities, and Hollywood. So they all dropped it tacitly. It's not that they made a statement. Like, I'm pretty sure if you are going to go to someone next to Harvey Weinstein and ask him, are you a feminist? You'll be like, of course. But they're not coughing up the cash anymore. And most of the cash that were fueling the feminist ideology, the third wave feminist ideology, were from big businesses. Most people did not want to give money to an ideology that are like, yes, all men are rapists. Hashtag yes, all men. Hashtag. Most people didn't like that. So it was businesses that would pour money. But now businesses have stopped pouring money. And the second reason, it's not trendy anymore. Today it's not about feminism. It's about transgenderism. Like, we need to get on with the times. Transgenderism doesn't hurt Hollywood. Transgenderism doesn't hurt the celebrities and whatnot. Like, they're not going to get Me Too'd by the transgender movement. So there we go. Right? Now it's all about the transgenderism. Feminism, not so much. It's being tacitly dropped out of existence. And we're going to see that more and more in the future. But Dominique calls feminists obnoxious bigots. And not only does he call them obnoxious bigots, but he also articulates it in a way that it's very difficult to debunk, right? Because when you say feminism, most people think, oh, equality between men and women. Perfect. Very few people are going to disagree with that if you're talking about equality under the law. It's like the same laws that apply for a man should be the same laws that apply for a woman. Right? Or are women like lesser or higher creatures that need a different set of rules? Huh? Are they like the aristocrats? We need like one rule for the aristocrats and another rules for the plebs. Don't laugh. That was how it was in medieval times. But anyway, the actual feminism is not about equality. It's the patriarchy, the magical cock and balls in the sky. And if you actually start reading feminist literature, like you read bell hooks and you read some of the most prominent feminist scholars, they talk about the destruction of the family unit. They talk about how they oppose gender roles. In a way, there are articles released in the press today that talk about how the quarantine is evil for their movement because women are now forced to stay at home and they're forced to take care of the kids. And horrible, that's gender role-ish. In fact, my girlfriend is cooking me dinner right now. Horrible, I know. So I'm going to head off to eat so I don't let her labor go to waste. Now, I would like to inform you all that I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 3 on my live stream this afternoon. And I also have another channel where I don't talk about politics, I only talk about entertainment. And the link is in the description. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and I will be seeing you guys later. Stay healthy.